Ma, naga-live do ko di ma, bation ka mo. Bation gid. Ma, naga-live do ko di ma, bation ka mo. Bation gid. Ouch. Naga-live do ko di ma, bation ka mo. Bation gid. Ouch. Good evening! Sa mga students ko if you're watching, please comment down para makita ko kung sino ang present. Good evening! Sa mga students ko if you're watching, please comment down para makita ko kung sino ang present. Okay, good evening. Gid kay Meljan Libres nga always gid nga nagalantaw di. Thank you for being present tonight sa aton nga live. How about your other classmates? Palihugan na share bisa inyo nga nga Facebook or sa sa group chat so that your classmates can also see our live class. So we've already streamed for 2 minutes, so we'll wait until ma-add na siguro just another minute. So pag 4 minutes, we'll start our class. Okay, please prepare your module for week 1 in pre-calculus so that we are able to answer the activities given there. Okay, sino pa ang another nga present da? Okay, so let's start now. So we have here our food for thought for tonight. That's written on Isaiah 40:28 to 29. It said that, pang spelling sang Isaiah ko ha, I-A-I-S-A-I-A-H, supposed to be. Okay. Do you not know, have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. So, I know nga gabi na kita always naga-live, and thank you for being with me tonight. So, ang motivation talang is never get tired of studying because God will give you strength. So, it's already Wednesday and we still have 2 days to finish our class. So, we still have 2 days to finish our modules so that mapasa na sa aton yung mga parents on Friday and you'll have your quality time on Friday afternoon. So without much ado, let's start our class now. Okay, so this is your pre-calculus class week 1. Our first topic will be type of conic sections. Okay, that's type of conic sections. So what is the objective of this week 1A? At the end of this discussion, the student will be able to, or someone watch this will be able to illustrate the different kinds of conic sections. So what you are going to do is just illustrate the different kinds of conic sections. That's why ang inyong activity sa inyong module is just construction of two cones so that you are able to illustrate on your own the different kinds of conic sections. So, what is a conic section? Conic sections are formed when a cone is intersected by a plane. So, I have here a figure. I have here a figure of a cone and also a plane. This one in red section is a plane, and these two are the cone. So cone nga patindog and cone that is inverted. Okay, so later on we will manipulate this figure in order to find what kind of sections are formed when we intersect our plane to this cone. So let's continue. Okay, so what will be formed when we intersect that slight pen, slight plane um, with a cone? Okay, so i-move ta ang plane. Okay, when we move this one to this one, okay, and move it up and tilt it. Okay, matilt kita gamay. Sorry. Matilt kita gamay. Ouch. Ang ano na. Okay. No kataas gid ka ginatilt na kadaman. Okay, so dyan na lang. Okay, what kind of figure is this? Pag i-zoom ta. Okay, when we zoom it, what you can see is not a perfect circle, but it's like an ellipse. Okay, so ang first nga ma-form, when you tilt this plane and intersect it with a part of the cone is we can form an ellipse. So, what is an ellipse? Okay, an ellipse is the locus of all points in the plane, the sum of whose distances from two fixed points, which is called focus of the ellipse, is constant. So the focus is constant. And together, we refer these points as foci. So please watch this video first. Every time nga i-extend mo, so every time you extend, ay hindi na mag-move akong mouse. Ouch. So every time you extend this figure or move it down, okay, ang ellipse ta may form either longer ang horizontal line or sometimes longer nga vertical line. So it's not a perfect circle, but it is like an oblate spheroid. Okay, just like the orbit of our Earth. And how do we create an ellipse? Okay, I have also here a video. How to create an ellipse. Wala siya. Sorry, do ay gaya ga nag-move ang ano, video sang ellipse. Okay. So amo na lang ni. Okay, if you are making an ellipse, pwede na siya nga this point which is the focus and this another point which is also the focus. Though pwede na siya nga butangan mo disang pin and also may ara ka nga rope. So sa rope, i-move mo na siya. Ang rope be like it is connecting your two focus. So it must be longer than this line. Then, when you put your pencil here and extend that string, once ganing agin palibot mo siya or make a circle around, this will be the figure that you will achieve. So that's how you are going to make your own ellipse. You have these two reference points, the focus 1 and the focus 2. So, sa sunod, I will discuss to you again on how to make that. Okay, let's continue. Nag-problem ako nga PowerPoint to. Nagsobra na siya. Okay, the next is the circle. So, how do we make a circle out of our cone? Okay, so maduluman gyapon ang aton nga 3D design. Ano na dyan, ang Tinkercad ko man. Gabisyo siya. Wait lang kita ha. Okay, so how do we make our circle? If this figure or this plane is made horizontally flat, okay, tilted horizontally, so ibalik ta siya be. Ouch. Okay. Okay, so what? That's how we make our own circle. Okay. So, kung flat ang plane and it intersects our cone just like this one. Actually, hindi siya super flat gid, but let's move this a little bit. Ouch. Gahanggod kita na. Okay. So, flat na siya. And if you want to see the figure, it forms a circle. So, pag nag-flat, we form a circle. Okay, so next. Ano naman gabi siya? Gabi siya ang akuan nga. PowerPoint. Dali lang gid class. Ano ka na eh. I think I need to delete the videos para nga hindi magbisyo ang akon nga PowerPoint. Okay, so we are now on circle. Okay, the definition is the circle is the locus of all points in the plane having the same fixed positive distance called the radius from a fixed point called center. So that's it. Why ko gali kahimo sa nga kon nga paint? Where was that? Maan na lang. Okay. So, aside from circle, may next pagid kita nga figure. So, that was the circle when the plane is not tilted but placed horizontally to cut your cone. Next, what if the plane is tilted but it doesn't cut whole of the cone or it doesn't cut across the cone? Okay. What is formed? Okay, so it forms a parabola. So nagapa U siya. So that is called a parabola. Okay, and for the definition of parabola, it is the locus of all points in the plane whose distances from a fixed point called focus and a fixed line called directrix. So, not passing through the point is the same. So that is the definition for our parabola. Dali lang gid bi. It is the locus of all points in the plane whose distances from a fixed point called focus and a line called directrix not passing through the point. Not passing through the same point. Sorry. Sala man gyapon. Okay, so that is the definition of our parabola. But later on, we will discuss more about these kinds of sections. And also, we have the generate conics. What are those? We have point, lines, and two lines. So, paano kita or how do we have this degenerate conics? So, let's move back to our Tinkercad. And see how do we have that point here. So if this is your plane and you are going to have it like that horizontally and move it to the tip of the cone, you will notice, okay, pasaka-sakaon ko siya. Okay, you will notice that it will intersect the tip of the cone at one point. That's why it is called a degenerate conics because it doesn't form any different figure. Hindi siya parabola, hindi siya circle, hindi siya ellipse, but only a point. And next is line. How do you form a line? If this plane will be tilted just like the angle of your cone. Okay? So, i-move natin siya, be. Let's move this here. Okay. So, if the plane is situated like this, it will form a line. So, line na naman siya. And the next one is the two lines. How do we form two lines? So, if this one, ang aton nga plane, will be tilted like this one, nagatindog siya at 90 degrees. Move ano eh. Okay. Then, it will form two lines or X. Daw nagapa-X siya. As you can see, naka-form siya sang X. Okay, that is the degenerate conics that is formed when we have this cone intersected by a plane. So, let's go back to our lesson. Ano ganito? What are the different conic sections? So, the different conic sections are ellipse, when the plane is tilted and it intersects the whole cone. And we can form a circle when the plane is placed horizontally and intersects the body of your cone. It forms a parabola if the plane intersects if the plane is tilted and intersects your cone only on its part. Okay, not across the cone. And also we have forgotten about the hyperbola. Okay, how do we have the hyperbola? So, isa pa na siya ka conic section. How do we have the hyperbola? When this plane is intersecting the cone onto its side. Like, duwagid ka cone. To kaginaya sa parabola, it's intersecting the part of a cone on one of its side. Sa babaw lang nga part kagina when it is tilted. At this time, we form a hyperbola when we have this figure. So, look at your plane. Si plane is on the part of your cone. Sa side lang galing siya. It's not passing through the center or the vertex of your cone. And then, you form your hyperbola. Okay, so that's it. So we have 4 conic sections: the circle, the ellipse, the parabola, and the hyperbola. And also the degenerate conics, which are formed are the point, the line, and the crossed lines. So that's it. Again, let's continue to have our lesson. Tapos na kita with our lesson 1. Okay, so siguro it's up to you to answer if what kind of conic section is given on your module. Hapos naman lang na sa inyo. We have 4 to choose. We have the parabola, the ellipse, the hyperbola, and the circle. So it's up to you to decide which of this is the circle, the ellipse, the hyperbola, and the parabola. Okay, congratulations. We are done with quarter 1, week 1A. Let's continue with our next topic about circles. So at the end of this discussion, the learner will be able to define a circle. And so, we have here the definition of a circle. A circle is defined as the set or the locus of points in the plane equidistant from a given point called the center of the circle. So if this is your C, this refers to the center of your circle, and all the points that are found equidistant to the reference point C will be called a circle. So, at this point, ang circle tagya, amo gid ni siya ang edge, ang sa kilid. Okay? And if you are going to refer to the circle C above with center HK, okay, H refers to the X coordinate and K refers to the Y coordinate. And given the radius is greater than 0. Why did we say that the radius must be greater than 0? Because there is no distance that can be written as negative. So, all the distances are always positive. Wala sang nagasalop nga distance, nagalaba lang. And a point P, which is represented by XY, is on the circle if and only if PC is equal to R. So, for any such point, then, its coordinates should satisfy this following. PC equal to R. What do you refer by PC? this is your PC, the line segment PC from the center to the side of your circle. And so, the distance from P to C or C to P is equal to R. Okay, so using our distance formula, if you have remember your lesson, the distance formula is this one. That is x sub 1 minus x sub 2. Before magsulat kita, quantity squared plus y sub 1 minus y sub 2 quantity squared. But right now, we are using h and k, so we have x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared, and square root of it will be equal to your radius. Let's continue. So let C be a given point, and the set of all points P having the same distance from C is called a circle. The point C is called the center of the circle, and the common distance are its radius. Okay. And let us have here the equation of the circle. The circle with the center at origin has this equation: x squared plus y squared minus r squared, if the center is at 0, 0 or at origin. However, if the circle has the center at any point, let's call that hk, so we'll have this: x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. Okay, so this will be the equation of the circle. So we have here an example. Given an equation of a circle x squared plus y squared minus 12 equals 0, identify its center and its radius. So let's try to solve that one. Okay, so ano to ganyan? Given x squared plus y squared minus 12. X squared plus y squared minus 12 equals 0. Okay, so at this point, since we have minus 12 here, you should transfer that to the right side of the equation. So we have x squared plus y squared from negative 12, that now will become positive 12. And then, syempre, x squared plus y squared represents the center, which is at 0, 0. And so, 12 represents your r squared. So how are we going to find the r? So r squared is equal to 12, and square root of r squared will be also equal to square root of 12. So our r is equal to square root of 4 times 3. Since 4 has already a square root, it can go out of the square root sign, but square root of 3 will remain inside the square root sign. So the radius is equal to 2 square root of 3. Take note, diba, when we find the square root of a number, usually we have positive, negative value, but then the radius must be greater than 0. That's why our answer is positive 2 square root of 3. Okay, why pat naka-comment dyan? Okay, let's continue with example number 2. Okay, our example number 2 states that given an equation of a circle, x minus 2 squared plus y plus 3 quantity squared equals 13. Identify the center and the radius. So, x minus 2 and y plus 3. X minus 2 quantity squared plus y plus 3 quantity squared equals 13. Okay, so this one will be our r squared. This one will be our h. And this one will be our k. So given the equation, we have x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared. And the point will be hk. So on this case, this is x minus, so our h is equal to 2. But we have y plus 3. So instead of y plus 3, we can rewrite it as y minus negative 3. So our k is equal to negative 3. And therefore, the center of the circle is equal to 2, negative 3, and the radius is equal to square root of 13. So our r is equal to square root of 13. Since 13 has no square root, actually it has a square root, but it will be irrational. So you can have this as your final answer. Okay, so let's continue with our lesson. Hindi na to man. Okay, let's continue. Okay, we have here the exercise. So I will answer numbers 1, 2, 3, and you are going to answer your number 4 to 5. So let's start with number 1. Number 1 is x squared plus y squared equals 9. X squared plus y squared equals 9. Ay, is that so? Okay, so ganun na nga. So, since your 9 is referred as to your r squared, therefore, we can find the square root of r squared and 9. So, r is equal to 3. So, therefore, for number 1, our center is at 0, 0, or at the origin, and our radius is equal to 3. Okay? So, let's continue with example number 2. Example number 2 is x squared plus y squared minus 45. X squared plus y squared minus, that's minus 45 equals 0. Okay, so all you have to do is transfer 45 to the right side of your equation. That will become positive 45, and also copy your x squared plus y squared. And so, since 45 is our r squared, so we have to find the radius. R equals square root of 45. And square root of 45 is equal to square root of 9 times 5. Square root of 9 is 3, so it can go out or get out of your square root sign, but 5 will be left inside. So this will be the answer for the radius. And given x squared and y squared, therefore the center of that circle is at 0. So that's it. And let's have our example number 3. Example number 3 is x squared plus y squared minus 13. So we have x squared plus y squared minus 13 equals 0. So transfer 13 to the right side of equation. So we have x squared plus y squared equals, from negative that becomes positive 13. And so this will represent your r squared. So r squared is equal to square root of 13. That will be the, sorry, it's not r squared. It's r. So r is equal to square root of 13. And so the center is at 0, 0. Okay, so that will be the answer for number 3. I will leave the answer for number 4 and number 5 to you. Okay, so let's continue for exercise B. Given the following equation of the circle, identify its center and its radius. So these are our exercise for letter B. So let's try to answer number 1 to number 3 also. Okay, so number 1 is x minus 1 squared plus y plus 3 quantity squared minus 9 equals 0. Okay, so all we have to do is transfer 9 to the right side. So that will become positive 9. And your 9 represents the r squared. And so we have x minus 1 quantity squared plus y plus 3 quantity squared. And so our center is at 1. And this will be changing its sign. That is 1 negative 3. And so the radius is equal to square root of 9. And that is equal to 3. That will be the answer for number 1. Okay, let's continue with number 2. X plus 4 quantity squared plus y plus 6. X plus 4 quantity squared plus y plus 6 quantity squared equals 49. So we'll have square root of 49 as our radius. So r is equal to square root of 49, and that is equal to 7. And so, since nag plus 4 kita di, we should change its sign. So our h will be negative 4, and your k will be negative 6. This will be the center, and also the radius will be equal to 7. Okay, so that's for number 3. I will leave number 4 and number 5 for you to answer. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so we have here another enrichment activity. Find the equation of a circle with the following conditions. Center at negative 10, 0, and passes through negative 6, 3. Take note that the radius is not given, but the other point. Okay, so let's put the equation first. The center is at negative 10, 0. So it means that we have x plus 10 quantity squared plus, syempre, y minus 0. So that's already equal to y squared equals, okay, the radius squared. Since the radius is not given, we still have to find the radius. So we are going to use the distance formula. So, negative 10, 0 is our first point. And the second point is negative 6, 3. Okay, so we are going to use the distance formula, that is the square root of negative 6 minus negative 10 quantity squared plus 3 minus 0 quantity squared. So, that is, mahimo ni siya nga 6 plus 10. So, that is 4. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 3 minus 0 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So, r is equal to square root of 16 plus 9. That's equal to square root of 25. And so, the radius is equal to 5. So, therefore, since r squared ni siya di, our equation will be 5 squared also. Or that is equal to 25. So, this will be the equation of the circle given that question on number 1. Okay, so let's continue with a question on number 2. Question number 2 states that center is at negative 4, 6. Okay, so if the center is at negative 4, 6, so we'll have x plus 4 quantity squared plus y minus 6 quantity squared. And it stated that it is tangent to the x-axis. Okay, so if this is your circle, your point is at negative 4, 6. Wait. This is your, negative 4, positive 6. Suppose this is your positive 6, and this is your negative 4. Therefore, the center of your circle is this one. And it states that it is tangent to x-axis, meaning it touches the x-axis here. Magtangent lang ang circle sa x-axis when there is a perpendicular line from the side of the circle to the center of the circle. So if this is 6, nga value ni x, therefore, it is still 6 here. But the coordinate on that part will be 6, 0. So since it is 6, 0, you are now able to identify the radius using the distance formula. Okay, so our first point is negative 4, 6, and the other point is 6, 0. So if we are going to solve that, we'll have radius is equal to square root of 0 plus 4 quantity squared plus, sorry, it's not 0. Okay, liwat. 6 plus 4 quantity squared plus 6 kag 4, 0 minus 6 quantity squared. Then that is equal to square root of 6 plus 4 is 10, so 100. And negative 6 squared is 36. So therefore, r is equal to square root of 136. And so, r squared is equal to 136. So it means that our r squared here will be 136. This will be now the equation of the circle in our enrichment activity. Okay, so that's it. Let's continue with the next. Okay, we are done with week B. So let's continue with the standard equation of a circle. So the objective is at the end of this discussion, the learner will be able to determine the standard equation of the circle. And so, equation of a circle is a way to express the definition of a circle on the coordinate plane. And so, standard equation of a circle with center at the origin will be this one. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. Na-discuss na naman ni Kagina. And also, we have your example. Give the standard equation of a circle with center at origin and radius is 4 units. So, remember, gina-r squared pa natin siya. So, at the origin and radius is 4. So, that will be x squared plus y squared because this will be the equation of your origin. And since our r's radius is equal to 4, therefore our r squared is equal to 4 squared. And that is equal to 16. So we have here x squared plus y squared is equal to 16. That will be for example number 1. For example number 2, determine the standard equation of a circle with the center at the origin and passes through -6, -2. Okay, so we have point 0, 0 and -6, -2. This will be the other point. So first, we have to find the distance or the radius between these two. So we have negative square root of radius is equal to square root of -2 minus 0 quantity squared plus -6 minus 0 quantity squared. And that is square root of 4 plus 6 times 6 is 36. So that's equal to square root of 40. Since our r is equal to square root of 40, so if we are going to square it, we'll have r equals 40. So the second equation will be x squared plus y squared equals 40. Okay, this is for example number 2. Okay, let's proceed to the exercises. The exercise, for each problem, determine the standard equation of the circle with center at the origin, and this one is given. Okay, so let's try to answer that. Okay, so number 1, we have x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And since the given is radius equals 5 units, so 5 squared will be equal to 25. That will be your answer for number 1. For number 2, we still have this equation, x squared plus y squared equals, the given is diameter of 12 units. So if the diameter is equal to 12, and we know that diameter is twice the radius, so therefore, our radius is equal to 6. And so, 6 r squared is equal to 6 squared, and that is 36. Okay, let's proceed to number 3. Number 3, the given is r equals 1.5 units. Okay, so we'll have x squared plus y squared equals 1.5 squared. Okay, so 1.5 times 1.5 is 2.25. Okay, that will be the answer for number 3. And still the same, you have to answer on your own for number 4 and number 5. Okay, let's continue with the next. Determine the standard equation of a circle with the center at origin and passes through the following points. On this case, we are going to find the value of the radius or the um, answer for the radius in order to find the equation of a circle. So let's start to solve our 1, 2, 3. Okay. So number 1, ang given is 3, 4. So the radius, solution for number 1, the radius is equal to square root of, di ba, mag 1 minus 0 is still 1 squared. And 4 minus 0 is still 4 squared. Okay, so that's equal to square root of 1 plus 16. So the radius is equal to square root of 17. And so r squared is equal to 17. Okay, so that's it. So our equation for number 1 will be x squared plus y squared equals 17. Okay, that will be the answer for number 1. Okay, let's continue for number 2. Again, we are going to find the radius. And so, di ba minus 0 lang naman siya, kaya it came from the origin. Okay? And the another point is 1, negative 4. So, it's still 1 minus 0 becomes 1 squared. And negative 4 minus 0 will be negative 4 squared. Okay, still, the answer will be the same. That's square root of 1, and negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. So r is equal to square root of 17. And so, r squared will also be equal to 17. So number 2 is x squared plus y squared, also 17. That's for number 2. And last one, let's solve for number 3. Okay, still we have to find the radius. So r is equal to square root of, the next point is negative 3, negative 5. So that's negative 3 squared plus negative 5 squared. So that's equal to 9, square root of 9 plus 25. And that is equal to square root of 34. Sakto, 25 plus 9. Okay, so therefore, our r is equal to 34. And so, we have x squared plus y squared equals 34. That will be the answer for number 3. And number 4 and number 5 will be left to you. Okay, gamay na lang. Please bear with me. Okay, we are done with quarter 1, week 1C. And now we have here the standard equation of a circle when this is given. Okay, the standard equation of the circle with center at HK and not on the origin, and having radius x minus h squared plus y minus k, quantity squared equals r squared. So if the equation of a circle is given in general form, so this one is the general form of the circle, or this one is another general form of a circle, where a is equal to b and a is not equal to 0, we can determine the standard form by completing the squares. So, if you are going to remember your lesson grade 9, that is about completing the squares. So, we have here an example. X squared plus y squared minus 14x plus 2y plus 14 equals 0. So how do we complete the squares? Okay, let's copy the given. X squared plus y squared minus 14x plus 2y plus 14 plus 2y plus 14. Okay, so we have to regroup it with all the x's. So we'll have x squared minus 14x. Then put a blank here. Then copy your plus y squared plus 2y. Put another blank there, equals. Your negative 14 will be transferred on the right side of your equation, and from positive 14, that will become negative 14. And so we will think about the number that we will complete here. Okay, so this is negative 14 divided by 2. 2 is always constant, and that is quantity squared. So 14 divided by 2 is equal to negative 7 quantity squared. Negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. Okay, so if we plus 49 here, okay, we should also add 49 on the right side. Okay. And next is y squared plus 2y. So same thing will happen. The quantity or the numeric coefficient of y is 2 divided by 2 quantity squared, that is 1 squared. So that is plus 1. So we also have plus 1 here. Okay. And so if you are going to express this into a square of something, that is x minus 7 squared. Okay, plus y, 2 over 2 is 1. So we have y plus 1 squared equals 14 minus 40, negative 14 plus 49 plus 1, that is 50 minus 14, we get 36. This will be the equation of the circle. Okay. So let's continue with number 2. The center of a circle is located at 2, 3 and passes through a point 1, negative 2. Find the standard and general form. Okay. So let's find the standard and the general form. So if we are going to put the equation, we have x minus 2 sa center and y minus 3. Quantity squared plus y minus 3 quantity squared. And so we are going to find the ranges. So the given points are 2, 3, and 1, negative 2. 2, 3. The other one is 1, negative 2. Let's check. Okay, so r is equal to square root of negative 2 minus 3 squared plus 1 minus 2 squared. Okay, so that is 5 squared, which is 25. And 1 minus 2 is negative 1 squared, that is positive 1. So r is equal to square root of 26. And so r squared is equal to 26. Okay, so let's put 26 here. That will be the standard form of the equation of the circle. How about the general form? So, ang general form, it's like an expanded form. So, we have to expand this one. If we are going to square that, that becomes x squared minus 4x plus 4. And this one, if you are going to expand that, the answer is y squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 26. But since 26 is on the right side, you can move that to the left side and it becomes negative 26 equals 0. So what are the things that you can combine? We have x squared plus y squared. Then your excess, y squared minus 6y initially. Okay, then your minus 4x, then your minus 6y, and we have plus 4 plus 9, that is positive 13, minus 26, that is negative 13, equals 0. This will be liwat B, basi karon sala naman solving ko. 4 plus 9 is 13, minus 26, the answer is negative 13. Okay, so this will be the general form of the given circle for number 2. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, we have here an exercise. So, pwede siguro, identify the center and the radius of a circle with the given equation in each item. So, maybe I should answer or number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. I will leave number 5 to you. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, for number 1, we have to identify the center and radius with x squared minus 6x plus y squared. X squared minus 6x plus y squared equals 7. Okay, so on this case, we can use completing the squares. So we have x squared minus 6x blank plus y squared. We don't have to complete the square for y because wala siya partner. And that's 7. Okay, so that's negative 6 divided by 2 quantity squared. That will be our third term. Actually, amo gini siya ang general formula to find the third term. So, negative 6 divided by 2, that's negative 3 quantity squared. So, that is positive 9. So, if we have plus 9 on the left side, we also have to add plus 9 on the right side. And so, if we are going to change that into its standard form, that becomes x minus 3 quantity squared plus y squared equals 14. So, if we are going to find the center is at h is 3 and your y is 0. Then, the radius is equal to square root of 14. Okay, since square root of 14 is irrational, it can stay as it is. Okay, that will be the answer for number 1. Let's have our number 2. Number 2 is x plus 1 quantity squared. Siguro si number 2, ya, balaan nyo na. Let's proceed with number 3. 2x squared plus 2y squared equals 8. So on this case, you can divide all of this by 2. So we get x squared plus y squared equals 4. And so, the center of the circle will be at 0, 0. And the radius is equal to square root of 4, which is 2. That will be the answer for our number 3. Okay, let's continue with the last number, number 4. Number 4 is x squared plus y squared then minus 6x plus 2y 6x plus 4y plus 9. 6x plus 4y plus 9. Liwat? X squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 4y plus 9 equals 0. Okay, by completing the squares, let's regroup them. X squared minus 6x. Put a blank plus y squared plus 4y. Put a blank. Then that's equal to negative 9 because 9 will transfer on the right side. Then if we have negative 6 divided by 2, that's negative 3 squared. So plus 9 on the left, then plus 9 on the right. Then 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So plus 4 kita. Okay. So then if you are going to change this into a squared form, that is x minus 3 quantity squared plus y plus 2 quantity squared. And 9 minus 9 is 0, so we have our 4 here. Therefore, the center is equal to 3 and your k is equal to negative 2. And so the radius is equal to square root of 4 and that's equal to 2. So, amo na lang na sa number 4. Okay, kamo na bahala with your number 5. Okay, let's have your exercise B. Determine the standard and general equation of a circle with a given center and passes through the following points. So, I'll just give you the answer for number 1. Negative 5, 3, and 1, negative 4. So, center is at negative 5, 3, and the next point is 1, negative 4. We have to determine the standard and general equation. So, for standard equation, we have x plus 5 squared plus y minus 3 quantity squared equals, we have to find your r squared. So, r is equal to square root of negative 4 minus 3 quantity squared plus 1 plus 5. Why did I put 1 plus 5? Because we have 1 minus negative 5. So that is 1 plus 5. So 4 minus 3 is 7. 7 squared is 49. And 1 plus 5 is 6. The answer is 36. So 49 plus 36, that is equal to pila 55, 85. Tama? 49 plus 36 is equal to 85. So this will be your r, and so our r squared is equal to 85. This will be the standard form of the circle, the equation of the circle. How about for the expanded form or the general form? All we have to do is expand that. So we have x squared plus 10x minus I plus 25. Then the other one is y squared minus 6y plus 9. Then your 85 will transfer here. We get minus 85 equals 0. So we have x squared. Let's arrange that. Plus y squared plus 10x minus 6y plus 25 plus 9, that is 34, minus 85, that is 51. So negative 51. Liwat 25 plus 9, 34. Minus 85, that's negative 51, equals 0. This will be the answer for your number 1. This is the standard form, and this one is the general form. So, I think dira lang ta. Okay, we are done with quarter 1, week 1D. So, hapos lang gid man na siya class gawa ang aton nga mga activities as of now. So, let's explore more next week. I hope nga naka-help gid ang discussion natin today, tonight gali. And I hope that next week I can be live earlier than before or after pag Saturday maka-live na ko. Okay, thank you for watching and hope you finished all your modules with a perfect score. God bless everyone and good night.